Fellow heroes. Um, today's interesting. Today, I I definitely didn't think that I'd be talking about a phone game. If anything else, Marvel Snap is actually really good, and I'm not being paid to say this, considering that I'm a really small influencer. As much, I mean, if they want to send money my way, I definitely would take it. But I've definitely been enjoying Marvel Snap. I've been playing it recently, and I've gotten a good couple hours into it. Gotten to the point where I guess I'm ranking in the game. It's just a progressive as you play against player versus player, but also NPCs, and it's a card game. It's a deck building game that and the reason I want to speak about it today is because there's not really games on the phone that are good that aren't heavily monetized. Now there are some games that I've played, other card games like Hearthstone and even MTG Arena. uh, Those get so monetized to the point where I I feel like I have to play that game every single day to grind it out if I don't want to pay any pennies, because I'm not gonna spend any money on those games. I'm just not. I don't have it. I don't want it. I don't. It's not gonna happen. But this is the sole purpose why I wanted to talk about Marvel Snap, because just about there are cards you could buy, not a lot. Maybe there's like a pack or two for people to get started, for them to make a little extra money, things like that. But a lot of the times you can spend your money on just cosmetics. See, you can take these cards, you can get different looking versions of them, whether it be pixelated or different art forms, and really this game pushes progression. If you progress your cards, which you make their arts just look going from normal to holographic to 3D and so on, you're essentially pushing a season pass, which is for free. You're pushing your leveling, which gives you more cards. Every two times you level up, you essentially uh, get cards, which at first in any phone game, and this is what had me skeptical, is pretty fast. You start playing, they start giving you things, they give you, and at first it's like every level, and then it's like, okay, now I'm getting it every two levels. But then it's no longer just one win is required to level up. Now you need multiple wins to level up. However, like I said, there's challenges that are in the game which progress you. You want to be progressed in this. So you complete the challenges, and they're dailies, and so it gives you a reason to come back in. And plus the games are quick. Honestly, they're like 3 to 10 minutes long, if that. I was able to knock out tons of games in a short amount of time, and I really wanted to push it to see, okay, when are they gonna like wall me off? When is it gonna get to the point where like the game will force me to stop playing it? It doesn't. It doesn't. As long as you keep winning, the grind might get a little slower. Not as slow as playing like Hearthstone, or not as slow as playing maybe Clash of Clans, or any of these other huge mobile games that are out there. You can keep playing. You can play nonstop and constantly progress, and that is huge for me when it comes to picking a game, because I think our phones are something that we carry with us all the time, and so being able to have a game on there that's actually decent is a big deal for me. And let's talk about the gameplay, because that to me is uh, what matters. I know I said the sole purpose is huge, but the other 50% is the game actually fun? And it is a card based game, but it is super easy to get into. See, you have these three lanes, left, middle, right, and you place your cards in either left, middle, or right. And essentially, your cards have power, kind of what you would expect from a card game. Your cards have a power, and basically whoever has the highest amount of points in that lane wins. You're not necessarily it's really like a more complicated game of war, where you just flip over a card, your opponent doesn't know what you're going to get, and you kind of see who has the bigger number at the end of it. This goes for about 6 rounds, and then at the end of the 6 rounds, if you at least have two of the three zones as your own, then you win. You progress. You get to move on. Um, there's if you've ever played Magic Gathering, each zone can act as a planes, and basically they can have random effects that occur, whether it buff a person, give you health, destroy the cards in the area. And by turn three, all the zones are unlocked. So turn one, you get one zone, turn two, you get another zone, and etika, so on and so on. But that makes for every game feeling different. Even though I was playing the same deck for a good portion of the time, I was never I never felt like it got stale too quickly because I'm trying to strategize, and because I haven't run into any crazy metas yet. I could already see based on some of like the card's abilities that there's some metas that can be made, or some cool little formulas you can make out of some stuff, high risk, high reward kind of things. But in actuality, uh, because I'm really playing reactively to my opponent. And there's a bit of preemptiveness in where I'm trying to win, and I'm trying to think, okay, what would my opponent put here? And I'm not really thinking about, oh, he's playing a red deck, or oh, he's playing a hunter, or he's playing a warrior, or he's playing a green deck. This is how I need to play against him. It's very, very much like reactive, like, okay, he's played that card here. I don't know what could be in his deck at any time. There's no indication for that kind of stuff because there's only about, I want to say, like 12. I could be 100% wrong about this, but there's like 12 or 14 cards per in a deck, right? And you go you because you only have 6 rounds, so you go through most of your deck really quickly. There's probably less than 12, but it's very close to that. And I like that. The reason for it is because the games are so short, it leaves you kind of wanting more. And because you're playing a very reactive play style, you're not so stressed out about making a really good comp. Matter of fact, I kind of left the ratio the same because just like in Hearthstone or just like in Magic, your cards cost mana, and every turn you gain 1 mana, exactly like in Hearthstone. Because another thing that pulled me into this game was the person who developed Hearthstone came over and developed this game as well. So a lot of the same systems kind of stuck into it. And this brought with it like, sometimes I get scared about balancing my own deck, so I left my deck kind of in the default settings, and I would just like replace the cards where they already were put, if I got new ones. So I would replace a 3 mana card with another 3 mana card, and one with didn't have abilities with one that did have abilities, and it worked out. I actually I've only lost because the game forced me to lose because it was a tutorial teaching you on how to lose. I've so Matt, the game's easy to get into. It's easy to learn, easy to pick up, and you can start. I'm sure I'm about to start losing. I've had some really close calls, and I think if you get ties, you both people win from what it looks like. Because I've gotten like 2 or 3 ties. They do have a really interesting function though, because up at the top there's like a cube that uh, essentially at any time you can press, and you can flex on the other person that you're playing against, saying, hey, double or nothing. Because the way you progress is by beating people, by playing the game, and every time you win, you get a cube, and every time you get a cube, it goes towards your progressing to level up. So you might need 5 cubes to get to level 17 or whatever. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but that's exactly how it works. And uh, you win about 1 or 2 cubes. You can win up to 1 or 2 cubes a game. So you can see where the grinding comes in. Uh, but you can double or nothing, where you can literally double the amount of cubes you can win, stealing your opponent's cubes, and uh, if you win. But if you lose your cubes, and same goes with the other opponent. The way to back out of this is to surrender. You could literally surrender and just be like, hey, you can have, I'm just gonna go out of this with 1 cube. Screw this. So I've I've definitely doubled up on people in a position where I could lose, and it's bluffed them, and they've quit. So there's some mind games to it. There's a lot of mind games to it, even in trying to predict where your player might go, or where they might want to put their on one of the 3 pillars. It's really fun. I'm into it. And the fact that it's like Marvel, you get to see your favorite superheroes if you're into that stuff. If not, then you get to look them up, which is the only downside I found of this is it doesn't have like little like descriptions of the heroes or maybe their costumes or what comic book issue they're from. But I mean, there's a lot of superheroes, so it could inspire you if there's a character that you really like, a card artwork that's really cool or something like that. Then you could end up looking it up. There's plenty of influencers out there and stuff like that that are doing that. But yeah, no, I saw people talk about the game. I saw ads for this game everywhere, and I just ignored it because I was like, I'm not getting into another phone game. And here I am recommending the phone game to you guys. Honestly, it's still a monetized game. It's still free to play, so it does comes with those hiccups. But the barrier to entry, the barrier to play, and the limitations they put on you aren't so bad coming from something that you can just pick up and start playing as you go. And because it's constantly leveling you up as you get more wins, you get more better cards, and as you get better cards, you're going to go against better people. And so I think if you do lose, you do get deranked as well. So if if things get too bad, uh you still progress in cards because everything you do when it comes to leveling up is still progression. But you can still go against lower people, and then rank back up. So there's not really, there doesn't seem to be a point where you could just get stuck in this game. It's all about just getting in, out quick, playing. If you're waiting on something, doing something, I've played this game plenty of times on the toilet. But if you guys have played this game out, or if you've been interested in it, or if you're just ignoring it, or you swore off phone games, let me know. Subscribe. This week, at the point of where I'm putting this video, I'm gonna be changing my streams in the morning, just so I could, because YouTube's been doing so great. Thank you guys for that. YouTube's been doing really good recently. This will help me have content to produce every weekend as I am able to get the stuff done at nights for YouTube, and then I can stream in the morning. So until next time, guys, play nice.